Live from the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, Mirley Bow, the Great Z, and luminaries right out of the gate.
Big L, a debut.
A debut. Assistant General Manager, VP of Football Operations, Catherine Raiche joins us. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
How is, as this week gets going, and we talked to Glenn yesterday, talked to AB yesterday, like all of the work, and then this is just one more piece of it for you guys. This is your first one with the Browns over here. What's it been like early on here in the week?
It's been great. As you said, it's an opportunity for us to gather information, get more pieces to our puzzle. So it's just really a continuity, getting our first look on these prospects live. So that's always a good thing, getting medical information, interview time, and then seeing them on the field. So far it's been great, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the week.
All right, we got to give a background.
Yeah.
Tell people of your journey. I mean, from the CFL, obviously from Montreal, but a GM in the CFL, spent time with the Eagles, and now here. Kind of just walk people through your path and what sparked in you that you wanted to pursue this line of work.
So from Montreal, Quebec, French Canadian. I'm sure everyone's asking, like, why not hockey? We were a football family. That's who we were. We loved the CFL.
Alouettes.
There you go,
Yeah.
the Alouettes. Grew up huge fan of the CFL. So I got my first opportunity with them. I was a lawyer at the time, was practicing corporate law, and I just wanted to get into football. Like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I just didn't know what and how. So I literally volunteered for about a year and a half for the Alouettes. They didn't have anything open. And after, I just kept coming, kept coming back. And they were like, all right, we'll give this person a shot. So I had my first shot with Jim Pop when he was the GM at the time. Then went to the Argos, also in the CFL, where Jim was the general manager at the time there as well. That's where I got to meet Mark Trestman, because Mark and I missed each other at the Alouettes because he had left for the NFL at the time. So worked with Mark. Then Mark gave me my first opportunity with the XFL. Not this current version, the previous version, pre-COVID. So got an opportunity there, really brief, 6 months, and then Howie Roseman called and offered me an entry-level position at the Eagles. Jump on the opportunity, and that's where Andrew Berry was my direct supervisor. That's where Andrew and I met and built a really good relationship. And then when this opportunity came with the Browns, I was like, hey, this is amazing, full circle, and I get to work with him again.
I mean, this is over a 6 year,
This is not a long time,
period.
and she's an assistant GM.
It's an incredible ascent, and the
It's awesome.
It's so cool, and this I like that part about you just kept showing up, right? Like sometimes availability, right? And you were there and showed that work ethic, and then this has just been a sprint. Like, do you at sometimes go, wow, this is, because that's a quick track.
I mean, to be honest with you,
Sorry, bro.
I've always focused on my current position and not really think about what's next or what's coming up, and like focusing on really making sure that I do this job that I'm currently having to the best of my abilities, and whatever is going to come is going to come. And I've just been so fortunate and blessed of the opportunity that came my way and the people I had the chance to work with. Because people like Howie, I started talking with Jim, Mark, Andrew, like those are all incredible men who not only gave me opportunities, but also trusted me with more and more and more responsibilities, which allowed me to grow and develop so quickly.
It's awesome.
So take us through, you're with the Eagles, you learn from how you're working directly for Andrew. He leaves to go become the general manager of the Browns. You get a phone call, I would imagine. He's like, hey, I'd like you to come be the assistant general manager of the Browns. What was that moment like for you, and what did that mean to you, and what do you think that meant to so many women who probably at some point thought this wasn't feasible, and now it is because you're sitting right here, and who knows where it goes from here, right? There's only one step up to be the first female GM in NFL history.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. So it really, just to go back in time when Andrew left, I stayed with the Eagles for another 2 years, another 2 seasons. And what was great about that is I got a lot of his responsibilities, how he empowered me with a ton of new things, elevated my role as well. So I got to learn so much. And I'll say this, like, I wouldn't be the executive that I am today if it wasn't for my time in Philly and all the things I learned there. And then when Kwesi got the job in Minnesota, that's when the job became open. And then going through, obviously, the proper channels to get permission to speak to me. But once we got to speak, I was like, yeah, this is it. This would be like a great opportunity to not only work with each other again, but really have a role where we could work very closely in putting the best product we can on the field and being part of that. So I was super excited.
What characteristics about AB from your time in Philly led you to want to be involved? I mean, we see it, but I mean, sometimes he's a little closed with us. We don't always get all the full picture. You know him a lot better than we do. What do you see from him that leads him to take this role and be so successful he has already here, and that you wanted to be a part of it?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything breaking here. Like, he's a unicorn in the sense of how special he is in so many different ways, not just on the professional side, how smart he is, how thorough, detailed, but how he treats others, and how he is so intentional about building a team around him, developing his people. I mean, you would ask him the question, like, versus, winning a championship or having 6 of his people under him, of his tree, call it, become GMs and be super successful. Like, I guarantee you, like, there would be a pause for him thinking about, what would be the most special thing. And that's how just how special he is as a person. So just working with him and learning from him in the quick period in Philly was so beneficial. Then when I had the opportunity to actually, like, work with him very closely and really walk that same path towards building a championship roster, I was like, I need to jump on that opportunity. I couldn't let that go.
Yeah. What's the biggest similarity between AB and Howie, and what's the biggest difference?
That's such a great question.
Thank you.
I will say this: the biggest difference that comes to mind, their food standards, or their food. Howie is extremely picky and has probably the best restaurant recommendations that I have ever heard of. He's really at the top. So that's the biggest difference.
He's a foodie.
Oh yeah. And to use a word, we talked about it before. Like, I would even use the word bougie. Like, that's just how high standards.
That's the level that he's operating at. I like that.
I would tell him, so it's not a surprise what I'm saying.
It's Gibbe, bougie Gibbe over there, right?
That's how he rolls.
Totally.
But similarity, I think, like, they are both relentless in their pursuit of, like, information to make well-informed decision, and I think they are both incredible decision makers, and that's really what this job is about: making decisions. Obviously leading, and there's a ton of other functions, but this making decisions is so key, and I think these two individuals do it at such a high level. Like, they're the best in the business, in my opinion.
To that end, when you are the general manager, the buck stops with you. You make those decisions. Mm-hmm. In your role, kind of walk us through what that's like, because obviously there's a lot of trust there, but ultimately at the end of the day, AB's got to make the decisions, and Kwesi was in this role, and then he went, and now Kwesi makes the decisions for the Minnesota Vikings. Someday you'll make the decisions for a team. How fun is that, but also how hard is that you're so close, but you don't get to push the button?
Yeah, it's kind of two. I would put it in two different ways. One, yeah, you're right when it gets to the final call and all that stuff, but there's so much collaboration as when you get to get to the decision that, like, while we may not be able to build consensus every time, there's so much work that gets into leaving no stone unturned that you really feel part of the process. And the other side of this, I would say, is AB's ability to empower us within our own silos, our own departments, or what we oversee, allow us to actually make some decisions within our roles that may not be obviously who we pick on draft day, but I'm just saying there's a lot of areas for us to develop those decision-making skills within our respective job, whether that's myself, Glenn, or any other department head within the organization. And I think that's one of his many superpowers is how he empowers his people.
Talking to our assistant general manager and vice president of football operations, Catherine Raiche. You mentioned you grew up football family in Montreal, but of course, why not hockey? And it's interesting because I've long thought of the Browns fan base very similar to both the Leafs and the Habs in that this is what they do. This is what we do. We do football in Northeast Ohio. The sport was birthed here. The passion, I think, is very similar to those. It's been a long time for championships and all of those as well, back to the 60s with the Leafs, obviously. And I'm curious if you've picked up on those parallels since you've been here from a fan base perspective.
Most definitely. I thought that our game day our game day experience, our fans, and this is a true competitive advantage. And I come from not only Montreal, but I also come from Philly, where there's amazing fans there too. So
people are a lot nicer here. Right.
I'm gonna refrain from commenting on
It was
this,
Nathan Segura.
but I
It's
will
true.
say this.
There.
I will say this: like amazing, amazing fans, amazing people, nice people. I think welcoming. I mean, I felt good ever since I moved. It's my first time moving to the Midwest, and I felt really really good being here. And it's all about the Browns, just like you mentioned. Like anywhere you go, it's just all about it, and it's really special.
It is very special. That's what they live for this. And you talked about putting a championship team on the field. When that happens, this city is going to go nuts. Statues for everybody, like nuts. That's what's going to be. And, you were near it in Philly, obviously, kind of right after they'd won the Super Bowl. And then what was it like, by the way, watching the Super Bowl? Because I'm sure you were still very much rooting for the Eagles.
Absolutely. I was so happy for them throughout the entire season, how it all came together. And I have so many close friends that are with the organization. So really just seeing it all unfold was really great because I was with them all the way through May last year. So it was really great to see it all come together. And then obviously rooting for them in the Super Bowl. And I'm very excited for what the future holds for them as well.
So let me get you out of here on this one. Do you have any pull with stadium food and beverage? And I ask because I did spend a weekend in Montreal once, and I love poutine. I think it's fantastic.
You're speaking my love language
I
right
think
there.
I mean, I'm telling you, I think it's the perfect stadium snack. Why are we not doing
Who
more
loses?
of this?
Fries with gravy?
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
I just think it's a simple thing. It feels like it's an easy thing to do. We're right across Lake Erie from. I mean, come on.
I'm on it.
Right?
I'm actually mad at myself for not thinking about it before. So
You come on this show, we enlighten.
Yep.
There you
We're
go.
idea men. We thrive on enthusiasm.
I
really
love
do.
it. I
Yeah.
love
I
it.
just love it. It's a no-brainer. This was a lot of fun.
This
Thank
was,
you.
yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. It was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Best
so
of
much.
luck. This is
Absolutely.
exciting.
Thank you.